When I was in high school, I had to learn about the solar system. And in learning about the solar system, it was taught that Pluto was one of the planets. And then in 2006, they decided that, well, Pluto's not one of the planets anymore in the solar system. And so we had to unlearn that. And it took a while to unlearn that because we had spent so many years learning it. And so today I want to talk to you about unlearning traditional parenting style. And I want to give you some steps, some ways to help you unlearn that parenting style. So keep watching and we'll talk about it. So my name is Lois Godot, and this is my channel, Ask Lois the Relatable Therapist. And so if you've been following a lot of my videos, I've been talking about the traditional parenting styles. And the traditional parenting styles that I'm talking about are the ones that either you learned it from your nationality, your culture, or even it was your ethnic background. It taught you that parenting style. And a lot of times it was that authoritarian, and which means that it was parent led. The kids couldn't ask any questions. They had to do as they were told. If they asked questions, it was considered talking back. And a lot of those negative parenting styles that were put on the kids. And so, if you want to learn how to be able to bond with your kids and how to be able to let your kids express themselves, let them express themselves, their emotions, then you had to learn a different way to parent. And just looking at the word unlearn, I'm going to tell you what the word unlearning means: taking what you have learned and pushing it all the way out of your mind. And that's kind of hard because you spent years and years of actually learning this and even being taught it. And so now we're asking you to unlearn it. And it's going to be a process. It's a process to unlearn those parenting styles that you were taught. And so I just want to give you some steps because you really want to do better with your kids. You want to bond with your kids. You've decided that, what worked back then, it's not going to work now. So I know you want to do better. And sometimes you feel guilty when you find yourself resorting back to it. So I just want to kind of give you some ways to help you to unlearn that parenting style. So the very first way is to separate those negative parenting ideas, those negative traditional parenting styles. You have to separate it from what you actually want. So you have to sit down and think about, so what do I want for my kids? And so I'll give you an example for me. So when I had my kids, I knew that I wanted to parent them differently. I didn't want them to fear me because a lot of times with that traditional parenting, the kids have a fear of their parent. And I didn't want my kids to fear me. I wanted my kids to respect me, but not to fear me. And so sometimes when I would do things with them, my mother would say, well, why are you doing that? And, you should do it this way, which mainly is the way that she raised me. And so sometimes I would let my kids have a say so on things. I would compromise with them. And of course, that would rub her the wrong way because that's not how she was raised or the way she raised me. So that's what I mean by you have to separate your ideas, separate how you want to parent your kids. Do you want your kids to be able to ask questions and it not be looked at disrespectfully? And I'm not saying that they say it in a disrespectful way, like, why we got to do that? But I'm saying, ask, well, why do we have to do that? So it always has to have that they're respecting you, but they also are able to ask questions. Number two, look at your own parenting style. What patterns do you see repeating from your parents or, again, your nationality, your culture, or your ethnicity? Do you see that you have a short fuse? Do you find that you don't have much patience? Do you find that your discipline includes yelling and being sarcastic with your kids? So you're looking at your own parenting style now and saying, what is it that continues that pattern? I say I don't like it, but what do I continue to do? Number three, don't justify or validate your reasons why you're doing certain things. Well, I hit them because they did this. Well, I had to yell at them because of this reason. Admit that this is something that you shouldn't have done. Admit if you're at fault. And sometimes you may be stressed out. You may be tired from work. You may have a lot on your mind. Acknowledge that. But again, don't justify or validate why you're doing things. Yes, I am tired, but you know what? That doesn't mean I have to hit my child or yell at my child. So don't give yourself a reason. So don't validate why you're doing what you're doing. Number four, if you feel that your parents' way or the culture or the ethnicity is rising up in you, you feel like that's rising up in you, give yourself a timeout. take a break, walk away from the situation. You can even use counting, count to 10. That'll give you time to relax. I've had to use this a lot of times, had to just walk away from a situation. If I feel that I'm starting to get upset, I'm starting to get angry, I have to take a step back with my kids. I had to take a step back and kind of look at it and kind of process it. Because if you want to change something, you have to start changing it. You can't keep doing the same thing that you've been doing and say you want it to change, because it won't change. So, like I said, leave the room. You can even sleep on it and come up with ways or how you're going to deal with it. You don't have to deal with it right away. You don't have to have an answer right away. You can even tell your kids, you know what? I'm going to get back with you with this. Let me think about it. Or, you know what? Let me just table this because, I'm upset. You can even say, I'm upset right now. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to do the wrong thing, because then you're modeling for your kids how to behave when they are upset. Number 5, set aside time to speak with your kids. Talk to your kids. How was your day? What did you do in school? You're interacting with them. You say you want to bond with your kids. You want to have a closer connection with them, because that's not what you had growing up. So you sit down and you talk to your kids. Hey, how was your day? Listen to them. Validate what they're saying. Let them know that what they think is important to you. It's important to you what they think. That way your kids will feel that you love them, you validate them, and you're listening to them. Don't just listen to them when there's a behavior or something's happened at school. Well, what did you do? Talk to them ahead of time, so then you and them can have that bond, that connection. Number 6, remember to keep trying. To keep trying, because the more you try, the better and better you will get at it. Remember that relapsing doesn't mean that the cycle can't be broken. And maybe you yell and you really didn't want to and you feel bad about it. That doesn't mean that the cycle can't be broken. That just means you have to keep working towards it. Number 7, get some expert help. Sometimes you can't do things by yourself because you've been taught this for so long and you want to try to break that cycle. And sometimes you need help to break the cycle. Sometimes after you do things, you feel guilty because, man, I shouldn't have did that. So you might need some help. I'm a coach. This is what I do. I help parents make positive changes in their parenting style so it can reduce conflict and trauma with their children. So also, I have a book. I've written a book. It's called Take a Deep Breath, Relax, because you got this. And it's on Amazon. And the book is to help parents deal with bonding and connecting with their children and their partner. It's going to help you as you're learning how to unlearn those traditional parenting styles. So again, it's on Amazon. It's called Take a Deep Breath, Relax, because you got this. So let's continue this conversation in the comments. Let's continue what you think about relearning. Have you tried to change some things about your parenting style? What have you tried to change? What have you changed? So let's continue the conversation down in the comments. And here's another video that I did just for you to help you on your journey as you're becoming that awesome parent that I know you are.